Hey guys, Brian here from LCS. Thanks for stopping by the channel. And this video, the Amazing Spider-Man number 75 review. So this is the latest issue of Amazing Spider-Man, and there is a all new creative team that is taking over from Nick Spencer's run. Nick Spencer's run was, met with kind of mixed reviews. I thought it was an okay story. For me, it took too long to develop, and I know one big part of the criticism was all of the loose ends and some of the previous storylines that the series was trying to clean up or rewrite. And so, but here we are. We're moving on. We have a whole new team, and we have reintroduced Ben Reilly. He is now back in the mix in New York City. And there is a big company called the Beyond Corporation that is funding him and his kind of return. And so that's something that we're finding out about. And it looks like the Beyond story arc will be about 19 issues, believe it or not. There was a little note in this week's issue about, how long the story is going to take to unfold. So I was really impressed with the artwork. It looked different than previous issues, but it definitely was, nice to look at. Good Spider-Man, kind of classic Spider-Man artwork. But overall, the story is that Ben Reilly comes back. Like I said, he's being funded by Beyond Corporation, and we don't really know all of the details. But he does seem to have some upgraded tech. His Spider-Man suit is full of, gadgets and surprises. And he actually approaches Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and just basically mentions him that the Beyond is trying to invest and help promote Spider-Man. And there's some interesting debate about whether they own the Spider-Man name. And so Ben Reilly is basically telling Peter that, look, you don't really have an option. This is happening. Beyond and myself, are here, and, we're moving forward whether you're on board or not. And, obviously Peter is dealing with all of the fallout from, the Sinister War and the death of Harry Osborn. And so there's a lot of things going on in his life. And now he gets hit, with this. So here, I'll take you through. So you can see Ben and Peter, kind of meet up and have this conversation about how things are going to happen in the future. And Ben actually even asked him to maybe step aside for a little while. And obviously Peter is saying, that's not happening. That's not part of who I am. So, there's some back and forth, and we get a little bit of detail on how, Ben is kind of set up. He's obviously very well funded. He has his girlfriend back. Beyond Corporation sprung her out of jail, and they're basically set up. And then Peter and Mary Jane are obviously still dealing with everything that has recently gone on, and Mary Jane explains to Peter that he really needs to take some time to process through everything. And he gets an alert that something's going on at Empire State University, and then he's off and, not dealing with everything that has recently gone on in his life and with Harry and everything. And so when Peter gets there, Ben is already there at Empire State, and the UFOs are there, and there's a little battle that goes on. And you can see that Ben is definitely has the high-tech, suit and some advantages that, are normal Peter Parker with his own suit don't have. And so a battle goes on with the UFOs, and at the end of it, and Ben and Peter begin to work together, but at the end of it, Peter is left unconscious and pretty beaten up from the battle, because he is kind of the low tech in this battle, and that's kind of where the story leaves us to be continued in the next issue. But the interesting thing here is there are some B stories and C stories in the book, and so they introduce this other storyline, Love and Monsters, and I'm not familiar with these characters. I don't know if they are new or previous previous characters that were in the story. I never read the original Clone Saga. I've heard about it. I know some of the details, but I have never, fully read it myself, so I don't have all of the backstory. So I'm not sure who these two characters are. Let me see. They go by, they mention each other's names. I think it's Colleen and I don't know, Colleen and so they seem like they've been working together. And then at the end of this little fight scene, Ben Reilly shows up and asks if they are, available to be hired. So assuming that they will tie into some future storylines with the Beyond Corporation. And then we see another story now at some work that's being happened at Ravencroft, and there is a particular scientist there, and then the Beyond Corporation shows up and asks them, if she would be willing to be involved and funded by Beyond, and some of his work with memories on Electro and Max Dillon and clones in general. So I can see that they are looking to maybe tap into Ben Reilly's, memories. I don't know if that's good or bad, but they are certainly pursuing somebody that can help tap into his memories. And so that's really it. So it definitely looks like the new storyline is all in on Ben Reilly. So it'll be interesting. Like I said, I don't have the backstory on the Clone Saga, that I read it firsthand. But I know a lot of people are not so crazy about that story arc, from the past. But it's interesting here now. They are previewing, obviously, the next issue of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. But they are also, now it looks like they will be launching a Ben Reilly Spider-Man title in early January of 2022. So it definitely seems like the new creative team is all in on Ben Reilly. And like I said, based on the information and reviews that I've heard from other Spider-Man fans, that is not such a great thing. But who knows? Maybe the team will take it in a different direction that could be interesting, but only time will tell. So we will get another episode of, I always do that, another issue of Spider-Man next week. And that about wraps it up. Overall, I thought it was a good story, a good introduction. Obviously, there's still chaos in Peter Parker's life, which if you've read Spider-Man for any period of time, that's kind of the backbone, right? He's always down on his luck. Shit's always happening in his life that's just keeping him, crazy and, down on his luck. So in comes Ben Reilly. And of course, he's got the funding, the money, the cool apartment, the gadgets. And here's Peter, still down on his luck. So I'm hopeful. Like I said, I really enjoyed the art. The art inside looked really, was really good. Kind of classic Peter Parker, Spider-Man look. But interested to see where this story goes. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.